Hey everybody, it's John. It is Dry Fire Monday, sponsored by the Mantis X Firearms Performance System. Really appreciate them. Really helped me get better this year as a shooter, gonna help me in 2019 as well. So today we're gonna work on the reload. Our blaster has run empty, so we gotta get more beans in the blaster, and we're gonna work on doing that in a more effective, more efficient manner. There are live fire training tools and dry fire training tools. Mantis X is the only one that does both. It will change the way you shoot for the better. It has helped me immensely. So, reloads. If you've been to one of our Cover Your Asp seminars, where we talk about the lessons learned from watching thousands and thousands of gunfights, you will know that I say all the time that I have only ever seen 3 reloads in a non-law enforcement encounter. So this is not something that I emphasize all the time, but every time you go to the range, your gun's gonna run out of ammo, right? You're gonna run multiple magazines through your gun, so you may as well know how to reload efficiently and effectively. Also, of course, for law enforcement officers, you really need to know how to reload your firearm effectively and efficiently, because I do see law enforcement gunfights go more than a magazine, not infrequently. Now, that said as well, when we're running on the range, hey, knowing how to just put some more ammo in the gun and do it effectively is an important thing. Important to know how to do that and then get back on target and get after it. And there are a lot of range drills that involve a reload. And so knowing how to do that quick, especially if you're gonna be in competition or anything like that, which I like to compete, so why not? These are important skills to learn. So let's talk real quick about what we're trying to do here, okay? So I'm gonna actually put this magazine in the gun, and for the moment, we're just gonna assume that the gun has gone to slide lock and we are running it. Now, of course, I have a magazine in here, right? But we're just gonna assume for the moment that that's an empty magazine because my slide is back. So, at its basics, all we need to do is take this empty magazine out, and then we need to put a fresh one in. So a couple things that we're gonna work on here, and we're just gonna work them nice and slow and then start working on a little bit of speed because, we wanna get faster at what we're doing, okay? So I'm gonna say real quick, right now I am wearing a Koala, which is from Dark Star Gear. It is an adjustable magazine pouch that I can put this at basically any kind of height that we want. If I'm gonna wear that, I'm wearing it up here like this right now, so that's where it's gonna be, okay? So we're going pew pew, right? We're doing our pew 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 pew. Now the gun goes empty, so what do I do? Well, the first thing I have to do is I have to drop this magazine. So, okay, I'm gonna bring the gun back in here so that I can see it. Now, I know a whole lot of people that are gonna get frustrated about this, and there's a lot of discussion on the best way to do this. But this is a small motor skill, okay? So what I'm doing here is I've dropped that out, and that's not gonna be a big deal, but now I have to put something back in here. And this is something that I'm working on right now, okay? My shooting coach, Scott Jedlinski from Modern Samurai Project, is really helping me get faster at this. Part of that is because I'm taking an Ernest Langdon class in a couple of weeks, and he, of course, is the curator of the fast drill, and that's from Todd Lewis Green. And the fast drill is draw 2 shots in a 3.5 by 5 card, then a speed reload, drop that slide, and 4 shots in an 8-inch circle, and to get a fast coin, that all has to get done in 5 seconds. The reload is where I'm gonna have problems, so I'm really working on it this week and next week. Here's how that's gonna work for us, what we're working on here again. So this comes out like this, okay. So there's a lot of discussion here as to, do I bring the gun down here to look at it? Now the problem with bringing the gun down here to look at it, I get it, and people are gonna do that. You're gonna hear people say, here, bring it up here so you can look through your trigger guard and all that stuff. Thing is I'm actually gonna look here. I think that when it comes time to do this skill, I'm actually gonna look at this, and I wanna do 2 things. What I really wanna do is, I wanna get here and go get this magazine. I really wanna have an index on that magazine. So I want my finger as high on there as I can. That means my thumb is along that back side. And what's gonna happen here after this magazine comes out is I wanna be able to see inside the front of my magazine well. Because then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and put my finger there. Now, I will tell you, I went and shot a match last week. You'll see a video on it here in the next week or so on the channel. And a couple things that I saw, people reloading their guns, don't get this all the way in battery, and then they drive that out there, their magazine hit the deck when they took 1 shot, and they got what we call a moose cock. So their magazine dropped out, and then they had to go and get another one. It cost them a whole lot of time. So what we do on that, we bring this gun up here where we can see it. Okay, fine. Now, of course, in a non-competitive environment, I'd really rather people, if they're taking their time, to stay pointed at the berm, okay? I really would rather them come back, stay pointed at the berm, put more rounds in the gun, drive the gun back out, okay? But we're in a competitive environment here, so we're going as fast as we can. Speed matters as long as it doesn't disqualify me on the range. I get it. People are going to go muzzle up. Okay, but what I really want to do here is I want this magazine to come up from here and go straight in the gun. So I don't want the gun to be up here because now I got to steer the magazine around and into it. What I really want is I want a direct path into the magazine well, and then I want to smack it in there like it stole something from me. So I don't want to kind of ease it into the magazine well. What I really want to do is hit that and really get it going. Now you saw that actually caused the slide forward because I tend to ride the slide stop just a little bit. Okay, so that's another thing, right? So we're going to talk about that. But we're going to get the gun up, see it, put that magazine in there. Now then, we are going to drop this slide. How do you drop this slide? In the words of Dave Spalding, I can't really describe to you how little I care about how you drop that slide. Some people are going to then come over the top and power stroke this gun and get back at it, and they say that that's a major motor skill, and so it's not a fine motor skill, and they're more happy with that. Okay, fine, I think this is a finer motor skill, getting a small piece into a small place. I'm not a big fan of worrying about that. Some people will come over and slingshot and then get the gun back in the fight. Great. Some people will use the slide stop. Matter of fact, it's one of the reasons that I love my HKs, because they have a slide stop. This one here is Tybolt, my P30 with a Shield RMS that I'm still testing. This is, I like using the slide stop personally. In fact, I like it, you just saw me do it, where I will ride this slide stop a little bit, and when it comes in there, that puts a little bit of pressure on the thumb, moves the gun up, slide goes forward. It's how I prefer to do it. Now, let's just kind of see that in motion. So, if we have a magazine in the gun, again, we have some dummies in here, but I'm just going to pretend for the moment's time that it's empty, okay? So the gun is empty, bang, 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 I've done my thing, now my gun ran dry. Oh noes. What am I going to do? My gun ran dry. I'm going to bring the gun up to where this is going to come into the space, to where I can see it, and drop that magazine. Forget it, it's gone. Now you might be able to see right down here, I have a chair here so that it hits that first, so that it doesn't hit the hard floor in my office well, but that's just a training stuff. Now, I went and I didn't really describe that here. What I did here is I pinched and drove this up, then drove my thumb back behind my spare magazine, brought that magazine out, and inserted into the gun. Now, I purposely pulled my thumb up nice and high because I wanted you to see that. But again, I like to ride this slide stop a little bit so that it gives me a little bit when it goes in and drops it. But regardless, I like a slide stop release, drive the gun back out, see my sights, press my trigger. That's what I like to see. I like to see that happen again and again and again. Now then, once you get good at that, once you're able to really kind of get it in there, rock and roll, get your shot off, do all the things that you need to do. Gosh, I really ducked my head there, didn't I? It's another thing to fix. But once you're getting all that stuff done, now you can add a little time pressure, because you want to do that in as quick a manner as possible, of course. You want to do that in such a way that it is done efficiently and effectively. And so to do that with some speed takes a little bit of time pressure. And you can do that with a timer, just a competition timer, and you can say, hey, listen, I want a 2-second reload, or I want a 1.5. I'm trying to work down to 1.5. I'm not quite there yet. Got to be honest with you, I'm more like about a 2 on my best day. But I'm going to show you, for most people, a 2.5-second reload's not too bad. And so I'm going to show you kind of what that feels like. And you can just use a competition timer, set your second beep, drive the gun out here, hit your timer, and you get that beep, do it, hit a par time, beep, and try to get underneath that. Easy to do. Another way you can do it is with the Mantis. The Mantis has both an out-of-battery reload and an in-battery reload that you can do drive or live. So let's do it, shall we? So what I've just done is hit the record button here, and we're going to use the out-of-battery reload, and we're just going to use that to give us a beep and then give us a time. And also I'm going to see that I have seen my sights and that I put my first shot on target, and it'll give me a score there as well. Now again, the gun is really moving on this and I'm trying to get out of it, so the scores are going to definitely drop in terms of their overall sense, but it's also going to tell me where I am when the shot breaks, and that's a good thing. So let's kind of get a feel for it here. We're not going to go fast at all this time. We're just going to see it, feel it, do it. Shooter ready. Pew, pew, pew. There it goes. I drop that. I see that. I get that. I drop it. Now you notice there, that was not a fast shot. And as we saw here, as a 3.77 second reload, you saw I took my time. I didn't do anything in a hurry. That's great. Now the shot showed a 69.7, but here's what you noticed. As it came, my muzzle kind of came up and found, and you can see right there again on the screen that it was a little high when the shot broke, and then my recoil went left, which is a left-handed shooter means I'm pulling a little bit. So now I got a little bit of feedback, and again, I can go back and see where my shot was and all that stuff. So let's try it again. Set it up, do it again. Okay, that one was a little faster, a 229. Again, I wasn't rocketing fast or anything like that, but you notice my score, 3.5. Oy. So that score was terrible. Let's see what happened there, shall we? What we see here is as we were coming in, I was all over the place, but actually broke the shot in an acceptable place. It was a little higher than my target was, but it was within the bounds. That's a good thing. And then, again, a little left on my follow-through. So that's something to work on. But again, score a little faster, 229. Now, of course, you saw that that was a second shot. I'd have to go back and see it because it didn't record my first shot. Every once in a while, it does that. So it shows a 291, but actually my shot was significantly faster than that. I think probably a half second faster. So at any rate, you can see how a tool like this can help you to work through those things. Now, again, if you don't have that, just use your shot timer. Set a part time, man, and drive it out there and do your thing. If you don't have a shot timer, just work that skill again in a class or something like that where I'm not really worried about time and those kind of things. You know, the gun goes dry, bring it back here, put a new magazine in. You know, now don't hit it twice, but when you put that in, give it a good solid push. Get that slide stop down and go to work with your gun. That's how you're going to get better at reloading. Hope it helps you.